With the global sales success of the smaller EV6, Kia is literally expanding the EV family with the Telluride-sized EV9. I'm here in New York City on the eve of the 2023 New York Auto Show, and this right here is the huge 2024 Kia EV9. Let's take a first look. Now, before we start talking about the exterior styling of the all-new EV9, I want to show you guys what's underneath the hood because this is a dedicated, fully electric platform. It's built on the same E-GMP architecture. So as you can see, it has a small frunk, although it does look larger versus what you get in the EV6 and the Ioniq 5. This is probably the biggest frunk that I've seen riding on this platform. Kia doesn't have any specific numbers here, but it's nice to see that the EV9 includes that. Now, powertrain specs are still a little bit sparse, but this is the US spec car. So Kia says it'll launch in America with a single motor rear wheel drive and a smaller 76.1 kilowatt hour battery pack. That'll make about 215 horsepower. Kia didn't say the range for that model yet, but I'd estimated it to be in the low 200 mile range. For those of you who want all-wheel drive, this model here is the GT line, which means it gets dual electric motors for up to 379 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. This also has a bigger battery pack, the biggest that I've seen on the E-GMP architecture at 99.8 kilowatt hours. Kia says this model here will be able to go up to 300 miles on a full charge, and it'll do 0 to 60 in about 5 seconds. It also will tow a maximum of 5,000 pounds. Those are all the specs that we have for now. Rumor has it that Kia is working on an actual GT version of this car, which we've seen in the EV6 make around 576 horsepower. So in this larger vehicle, it should be making the same, if not more. But again, it'll give it the kind of performance that you expect out of a German luxury brand. But let's go ahead and close up the hood and talk about the exterior styling of this vehicle, because Kia calls it the EV9, but I actually kind of think they should have called it the electric Telluride, because it really has the same kind of front fascia, the same kind of presence. At the front, you can see this is the Tiger face grille. You can see it's an evolution of the Tiger nose grille because it doesn't actually have a nose. There's no grille. You can see you've got the new Kia logo here. This color is called Deep Ocean Blue. Kia says they're going to offer around 9 colors, including a few matte colors. All of them have an earth theme to them. You can see the headlights. These are they're full digital lights designed LED headlights, where you can see you have this interesting light signature in the actual grille. You have an LED daytime running light. This model here, like I mentioned earlier, is the GT line. So it has probably a sportier looking front fascia, but let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of the design. This vehicle is actually about the same width as a Telluride at just under 78 inches wide. It's also a little bit lower, and in terms of the overall length, when you look at the rest of the profile of this vehicle, you can see, unlike the EV6, this is a big vehicle. In fact, in pictures, it doesn't look all that large, but at 197.4 inches long, this is about an inch longer versus the Telluride. Its wheelbase is also around 4 inches longer as well, but you can see it's a little bit lower, but it kind of has, that interesting shape that we've seen from other vehicles in this kind of product lineup. Now you can see the wheels. Kia will offer a choice between either a 19 or a 21-inch wheel. As you can see, this is the GT line. It's riding on a 21-inch wheel, riding on a 285/45 R21 tire. So that's a really fat tire. You can see the wheels also have like an aerodynamic shape to them. I suspect these are going to help, or these are going to lower the range a little bit. Kia actually says this model has around 7.8 inches of ground clearance. So again, it actually does have SUV-like ground clearance to allow you to go off-roading. Now you can see the door handles. They are the power retractable, pop in and out. They're a slightly different design versus what you find in the EV6. You can see there's also roof rails, a panoramic sunroof. I'm not entirely sure, which trim is going to come standard with that. But overall, you can see in this area here, I'm seeing some design cues from the EV6, especially with the profile of this area. You can see the charge port door is over here. This is a very early prototype. It's not going to open up for me, but it's probably a power charge port door. And then when you look at the rear of the vehicle, you can see its own unique design, kind of Volvo-esque to me when I look at the rear taillights. You can see it's very clean. You have the Kia logo back here, an EV9 badge, not even really just a subtle GT line badge over there. And overall, I just really like the profile. You can see there's also a nice spoiler back here. No rear wiper, it looks like. Actually, no, it's actually hidden underneath the rear spoiler here, which is a really nice, clean, clever design. I love what Kia is doing there. And then in terms of the cargo space, Kia actually already has some numbers for us. So all EV9s are going to be standard with up to 3 rows of seating. You can either get up to 6 or 7 passenger seating. You can see this model here is the 6 passenger seating. And when you have all 3 of the rows up, Kia says you get a little over 20 cubic feet of storage space. 20 cubic feet of storage space puts it a little bit more versus the Telluride. You can see here's the bag for the charge port cable. There's a little bit of storage underneath here. It looks like you just get a fix-a-flat kit And this vehicle will also have the functions to be able to use it as a generator where you can power external devices via the little plug outlet over there. Remember, this runs on the 800-volt architecture, which means that you can charge this vehicle up to 230 kilowatts. You can charge it on a 350 kilowatt, which Kia says you can go from about 10 to 80% charge in less than 25 minutes. Now, when you fold down all those seats, Kia actually already said the cargo figures, 82 cubic feet of space. 82 would put it around the tops in the segment, which definitely is going to make this vehicle very popular when it comes to families. So welcome to the interior of the all-new 2024 EV9. I have to say, Kia has been really working hard to improve the quality and just the craftsmanship and the technology in their vehicles, and it really shows. I mean, they could have just done a cut and paste interior here from the EV6, but you can see it's got its own unique design. First thing I'm seeing, it's got a new steering wheel design, which almost looks like they kind of took it from Genesis with the kind of design of the spokes. You can see the Kia logo is actually illuminated. I've never seen that before in any other Kia product. And then of course, this model here, being the GT line, has its own unique design to the seats. These seats, I'm not entirely sure what the color is, but it is a vegan leather because Kia, again, this is an electric vehicle. They want to use sustainable materials. The seats adjust, and I believe like 20 different ways. You actually have an ottoman feature where the seats have like a relax mode where you can recline them down and take a nap while the vehicle is charging. These are also heated and ventilated seats. They feel really plush and comfortable. And then you can see here the screens. This is a wall, or it's two basically 12-inch displays. It's kind of similar to what we've seen in other Kias before. However, as you can see in this portion right here, where it's typically just blank space, Kia decided to add your climate control functions over here, where you can just touch them. It's touch sensitive, where you have a 12.3-inch display here and a 12.3-inch display over here. In terms of the materials, you can see it's kind of like a soft touch injection molded plastic. I love kind of the textures and the different colors here. You can see the ambient lighting also makes it look really upscale. The door panels also have a nice soft touch injection molded plastic. I have heated and cooled seats. With memory function, of course. The window controls, they feel really high quality. And then also, check this out, guys, the steering wheel. It's got a power and tilt and telescoping, which again, luxury. Kia says this car is not going to be cheap, but it also is not going to be quite as expensive as a Rivian. Now you can see over here, here's your gear selector for the vehicle. Kia typically has a rotary dial for the electric vehicles, but they've moved it over to this like stalk here on the steering column, which kind of frees up the space. So I'm kind of, I'm not surprised why they did it. I'm not entirely sure if this has wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. That's something that I've harked on Kias in the past for not offering, where you have to do a wire connection. They tell us that this is, however, is the first Kia to get over-the-air updates. So it has wireless over-the-air updates. You can see it has a new interface. The software has been redesigned. So I wouldn't be surprised to see wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So let me know in the comments below if you guys have heard if they're going to do that. I like this kind of volume scroll wheel over here. You also have these touch-sensitive buttons over here, which all looks really great. It's very clean in terms of the design. And then you have a really big center console here. We can see there's a cup holders. You have your full 360 camera, which you can see Kia does a really good job of showing you graphics that rival the best from a lot of European luxury brands. Your wireless phone charging pad is over here. And then you can see, open this up. Here's the key fob for the vehicle. Now, this is a very early prototype model. You can see the fob actually is kind of an evolution of what we've seen on the other Kia products, where it kind of looks like a detonator, but you can see it's kind of covered in this white soft text, or like this faux leather material. It looks really expensive and fancy, so I'm really glad to see Kia, doing changes like that. Above me here, you can see there is a sunroof. This portion here opens. There's also another sunroof in the back, which I'll show you in just a moment. Down over here in the center stack, you can see there's this kind of big storage area here, where there's also some kind of open area over here as well, where you could put like a purse or a laptop. The glove compartment, you can see, is bin style. It's damped but not lined with felt. And then you can see here the rest of the design just kind of is clean, modern, sophisticated, and also feels really high quality and premium. But you know what? This is a family vehicle, so let's hop into the second and third row seats, because Kia says it has enough room for everybody in this car. So moving on to the second row of the all-new 2024 Kia EV9. I'm going to get in and shut the door. I apologize for all the background noise. There's a live band playing in the background, but you can see this model here, it has the captain's chairs, which means this will seat up to 6 people. Kia also offers a bench here where you could seat up to 7 people. The third row only will seat 2 across as opposed to 3 across. So that is a difference compared to the Telluride. The other interesting thing about the second row seats, the captain's chairs, they are power. This is actually an 8-way power for both second row seats, and the seats themselves are also heated and ventilated. So again, that's something that is from the Telluride, but you have the power seats here, which literally feel just as comfortable as the front seats. You can see I don't have legroom figures yet, but the completely flat floor here of the E-GMP architecture allows for a ton of legroom. You have a ton of unintrusive space here to get into the third row. And then over here you can see you have cup holders, you have 2 USB-C charging ports. Kia says there's basically charging ports for every person in the rows. And you can also see there are buttons over here where you can adjust the front passenger seat. Down over here you can see there's also a little tray that pulls out. You can also push it back to reveal a storage compartment over here. This is all really neat stuff here. And you can also see Kia is throwing in some more ambient lighting to kind of improve the mood in here. And then above me, you can see there's some LED map lighting, rear seat vents. You have tri-zone automatic climate control. And then this also will open up, although it's a pre-production car, I can't get it to open right now. But this, I believe, won't actually open to vent air, but you can let in some nice light. There is not one over the third row. And then you can see here, there's also these manual sunshades, and then the materials here, back here, they feel pretty high quality as well. But let me hop into the third row, which you can basically push a button over there. You can see Rob went and pushed that button. That's gonna electrically move the seat forward. But getting back here, this is with the second row right now is kind of pushed mostly all the way back. Now, I'm 5'7". You can see there is a good amount of headroom space in here, but I would probably have to ask this seat here to move forward a little bit, which I'm gonna do really quick and just use the power adjustment. So I'm gonna move it up a little bit there. And once I do that, you can see, wow, just a couple inches forward, and the space back here is really nice. Now you can see this, the body's not quite as wide as the Telluride, so there's a reason why you can't fit a third person in the middle. Materials back here are all hard touch plastic, but this is a really early pre-production car. There is a USB-C charging port back here, which is also illuminated. You have cup holders and whatnot. The seats also still feel relatively nice. And you can see once you move this seat up, there is enough legroom space for somebody that's my height. There's good headroom space as well. So yeah, this is one of the few vehicles out there that's all electric, that has room for up to 7 people. And you can actually put average sized adults back here. It has enough headroom, it has enough legroom. So I think Kia has a real winner on their hands, especially for those families out there. With up to 300 miles of range, nearly 400 horsepower, a handsome exterior design, and an interior that's filled with the latest luxury and technology, along with room for up to 7 people, it certainly seems like Kia has a real winner on their hands. Now, speaking of which, if you are looking to get your hands on the all-new 2024 EV9, you're gonna have to wait until the end of this year. Kia says, expect this to show in dealer showrooms by November of 2023. And while they weren't ready to announce final pricing of this vehicle yet, they did say that this car will be built at their factory in West Point, Georgia, which means this car should qualify for the $7,500 federal tax credit whenever it does go on sale, assuming we get the next specifications on what vehicles will qualify. But I'm gonna go ahead and estimate how much this car should cost. I'm gonna say the base model is gonna come in at just over $50,000. This version here, the GT line, I'm gonna say is probably gonna go up to around $72,000 to $75,000. Now I know that is a good deal of money, especially for a Kia. However, if you look at the competitive set, this would compete with something like the Rivian R1S. Those models, or those vehicles, are gonna be well over $90,000 well equipped, and I've seen them even go close to $100,000 because, as you guys know, everything's kind of getting more expensive. So as long as Kia can keep the price of this vehicle under $80,000, and because it's gonna be built in Georgia, this will qualify for the $7,500 federal tax credit. For Redline Reviews here at the 2023 New York Auto Show, I'm Sofyan Bey.